and welcome to part 2 of the 2013 Diesel Power Challenge. Today we find ourselves more than a mile in the sky at the famed Vandermeer Raceway outside of Denver, Colorado, where our competitors will find themselves competing in 2 events that will test the mettle and the capability of their trucks. First, we're going to put them on a trailer towing obstacle course, which will take the pickup trucks, we'll put a 10,000-pound trailer behind them, and set them around a predetermined course of cones where they'll have to turn back and speed their way through without incurring any penalties. Low time through the course wins that event. Next, we're going to take the trucks and put them on the drag strip. They will be hooked to that same 10,000-pound trailer and told to drag it as quickly as possible from a standing start through the 8th-mile finish line. Low ET will win that race, and I'll tell you what, we can probably expect some carnage as these guys are going to let it all hang out, smoking all 4 tires off the starting line, trying to get all that mass moving. Well, it started out as a very wet morning here at Vandermeer Speedway. We arrived, all our competitors showed up, and then the clouds rolled in and the heavens opened up. Luckily, the skies have turned blue, we got a little breeze, and it's starting to dry out, and that means it's time for a trailer towing obstacle course. Willie Lewis from Texas will be our first competitor on the obstacle course. This is the Duramax-powered twin-turbo Chevrolet. This is a very badass truck. Laid down some great numbers in the dyno yesterday. Now we get to find out how maneuverable it is and how good a driver Willie is, because once he gets rolling, he can't stop, does not want to hit any cones, and well, it's about to get very interesting. Willie Lewis from Texas, and he is out of the gate now. Joined here with Diesel Power editor Sean Holman. What are the keys to success here, Sean?
You know, the course is wet, and we've made some modifications to the course this year to account for that. Some of the guys have trailer brake controllers, others don't. It's a very heavy trailer, so really control is the key here. And this is going to separate the competitors who are all about their trucks from the good drivers. You could lose the competition if you win everything else by not being able to do this smoothly.
And he is coming very close to jackknifing that thing down there. Lewis saved that trailer was headed for no man's land, and he jumped on the binders just in the nick of time. So he is, Willie Lewis got himself in a spot of trouble now. He's trying to get the truck turned in the right direction to head through the gates. What are the penalties for striking a cone?
So every cone is worth about 5 seconds, and we've doubled up the gate cones. So essentially, if you hit a gate cone, you're probably going to knock over its mate, which would be a 10-second penalty.
And here comes Lewis now. I guess what we'd call that the back stretch as he's on the brakes. Coming around the corner. Going to pull forward into that stop box.
And he's got to brake the plane with the front of his bumper without knocking over any cones.
And here he comes now back. He's going to have to make a 90-degree back in, I believe, at this point. Here he comes.
Crew cab, it makes his length a lot longer than our practice truck, so this is a pretty tight course for dualies and long beds and crew cabs. As you can see, he's already having problems right now getting the trailer in the box straight.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about that before he pulled off, that we do have some variation. Good piece of driving there by Lewis. Just snuck it in, and he just nicked the cone. I'm not sure if he made it in.
Yeah, he's good. As long as the cone doesn't move off of his base or topple over, it's not a penalty.
So Willie Lewis, relatively drama-free run there. I'm not, smooth as fast. All right, so our second competitor on the course here is going to be Paul Cato, and Paul is looking for a much less dramatic Wednesday than his Tuesday was. Yeah, judging by the way he attacked the dyno yesterday, I think they let him out of his straitjacket in the morning and plug him into the front of this truck. So I think he was going to be much more aggressive on the course than we saw Lewis was in the Chevrolet. He is off. Making some good smoke. He's going to make that 90-degree left-hand turn. Whips around there cleanly.
About to back into our trailer box. He needs to get as straight as possible in order to have a good shot at making the next gate.
And things have gone awry already. The trailer moving to the right. He's got to whip back around to the left, and he is heading through there. Oh, man, he's closing it. Yeah. This may be where the old trailer backing experience is coming into play.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to turn the wheel when you're backing up straight, as it turns out. So that's something you want to watch. Now we need to find out if he's going to go far enough back to make the turn. He may stop too short here, so let's take our eyes and find out.
All right, he is setting himself up pretty well there. Jams are into drive again. He's going to try to make up some time here on the back straight, as it were. Comes through the little chicane we got. Almost misses the gate.
And here's probably the fastest portion of the course, but he's definitely taking it a lot more easy than I thought he would. Now the key here is to brake the plane with your bumper without bumping into those cones in that box, which he's just done successfully. Now he's got to back up in a 90-degree turn into this finish box.
And looks like he's going long, and he's coming in hard now. He has got the full left rudder trying to get the trailer to come around, and it is not coming for him.
It looks like we might have some casualties here. I think the cones are getting nervous. I can see him sweating.
There's definitely a little puddle by one of them. It has evacuated its bladder over here out of abject fear. And Cato gets it in there. Does not hit any cones.
You know, I'm a lot more impressed with that run than I thought I would with him backing up in that first box, but he did a great job. Let's find out what his time is. Looks like the official number here, 135.
Wow. So competitive what we've seen so far, but again, I think both of us are expecting a little bit more swift times than that. Paul Cato lives through another competition, and we will see him later on today on the drag strip. So up comes Mr. Excitement himself here, Banyan Woolsey. This guy, I think the building still may be shaking over there at ATS from what he did to the dyno yesterday. Just humongous numbers out of this comments.
2,000 pound-feet of torque. It's just unbelievable numbers. I'm curious if he's even going to be able to get fast enough on this course to take advantage of that much power, if he's going to have enough speed to have the turbo spooled up.
The mark to beat right now is 1 minute and 31 seconds by Willie Lewis. And I would say that Banyan is probably a little bit more unhinged than Willie is. So I think...
if there was a bonus point scoring portion, I think he would walk away with those extra points in this competition. And he's spooling up the turbos to get a good launch. And as soon as he gets forward progress, here he goes.
The clock has started. And we're about to get just absolutely engulfed in a cloud of soot.
But it's a good kind of soot.
It is. It's the good kind of hurt.
So he's backing up into our gate here. Again, the key is to back the trailer up as straight as possible, but clear the gate as far as possible, get a straight shot at the next gate. So obviously you can see he's backed up a trailer before. He's had so far a nice clean run, very straight. Will he clear it far enough? Let's find out.
Absolutely straight as an arrow, and he actually set himself up really nice. He jogged the trailer off to the left a little bit, and he is now making forward progress. I'd say the smoothest looking run we've seen so far. He's not going too crazy with it, but I bet he's going to lean on it as he comes through that gate now, makes the right turn, and yeah, here he comes, building up a head of steam.
This is the fastest part of our course right here, and it looks like the guys are a little bit nervous about the wet weather and not having a trailer brake controller. Smooth and steady. Now he's going to break the line here, and okay, now he's clear of this box.
Old school Bob Chandler monster truck style driving technique here is being in his head hung right out the window. We don't need no stinking mirrors.
Looking good.
Look at that.
The 90-degree box. He's close to kissing, but not touching it.
That's it. Uh-oh.
Oh, into trouble.
It was all looking really good until he had to change direction there, and that is going to cost him time. And he has got the thing full right rudder. He's got it into the box, and it looks like he's going to be clean, and he is done.
So we've got a time of 1 minute and 34 seconds.
So a tight grouping so far, a very tight grouping.
So 131 still appears to be the time to beat 3 trucks in, and we've got 6 to go.
So it's the Big Silver Super Duty Ford of West Beach out of Ohio who's getting set up now as he gets himself squared away. Now, we talk about this isn't about raw horsepower, but what it is a lot about response. I mean, these guys are coming right off idle through most of this course.
Yeah, this course is a really tight course. While it does have a speed section, it's hard to get the larger turbos spooled up to really see the benefit of their power. So this is our first VGT, variable geometry turbo truck, that's in the trailer to obstacle course so far. So it'll be interesting to see if he has more low-end response and power and how he handles the trailer.
All right, Wes is off. Definitely he's the hardest. Oh yeah, there we go. See, now we got a burnout on him.
Finally get some speed and drama here. So he cleared the first gate.
Oh, nicked one, but it stayed.
So that's not considered a penalty.
That is kind of right to the limit. Wes gets the trailer straightened out for the most part. Hard to the left as he goes through our box. Yeah, he's moving. This is definitely the most speed we've seen anybody carry so far.
Yeah, I think that VGT turbo makes a big difference on a course like this. His key now is going to be facing the right way as he backs up. He's kind of cattywampus as we look at it now.
Yeah, he is very shallow coming through that gate, so coming through this one is going to be tough as he makes a very hard left-hand turn, wipes out a cone. Oh, and he gets the truck sideways, smoldering the tires coming through the fast section of the course.
Well, there's 1 third grader down. Let's see if he can avoid hitting any more in this schoolyard.
All right, he has it in reverse now. Again, got the head out the window driving strategy as he heads into our final box. If he can get it in here cleanly, even with his cone penalty, this should be the quickest time. Nice piece of driving there, very smooth.
And he's in the box. Looks like we're done.
Absolutely. I am not a smart man, but I know fast when I see it. The sheer level of awesome of being able to smoke the tires in your truck with a 10,000-pound trailer hung on the back is just, that is the good stuff. All right, we have the official timekeeper now.
Looks like 104, which is now our fastest time. We had to add to that the 5-second penalty. So 109 is now the time to beat it.
Okay, Matt Doyle coming up to the starting line now. And if there's one thing, we had just had West Beach made a run, and from my own twisted perspective, the fact that he went so crazy on it is good for us because the entertainment value just officially got ratcheted up.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Now the time to beat is so low. These guys are going to be driving really hard to make up some time.
Matt Doyle up on the converter, spooling the turbos. Up, up, and away we go.
The one thing you notice about this truck is just how quiet and smooth it is. Despite the amount of power it makes, it's not very loud.
No, you're absolutely right. And Clausen's truck almost the same way, but I think his, because he has all, he's got, what, 3 turbos on the thing killing all the noise.
He may have added a 4th one last night. I'm not sure. You have to check before the next run.
Multiplying like rabbits. Meanwhile, Matt Doyle's having problems through the gate down there as the trailer is now hitched to the left, and oh yeah, well, no, he has decided to. He made a mercy move there. Did not wipe out the classroom.
Yeah, you almost wonder if at this point it would have made more sense for him to just kill that cone on the end, but the cone still lives in the standing. He's wasting time right now through the gate. This is definitely going to hurt his overall score. He's definitely got some trouble right now.
Yeah, and I think what you're seeing too is when you start to have to think about what you're doing is when the trouble begins. When it's kind of flowing for you naturally, but when you start, we just saw him. He had to get the thing in reverse. Took him a second.
Well, he sets himself up nice for this gate here. He's going to pick up some speed. This is definitely the fastest part. Oh, and he touches a cone. Still not a penalty. Cone stays upright. Here he comes.
And he is coming around with a vengeance. Testing out the brakes on the 2011 Ford as he gets it stopped before nicking any cones there. And here he comes now for the 90-degree back in stop box to finish the run.
He's looking good so far. He's got a nice angle. Oh, he's not satisfied with it, though. I think he could have made that without going forward.
I'm with you. As the 2 official backseat drivers of this competition, I am right there with you.
This is going to be a problem.
This is going to be
He's at a bad angle. And
is there a penalty for hitting the jack?
Well, the jack may actually be 10 seconds. We didn't plan on that. Okay, so we're almost popped up. He almost saved himself there. Yeah, it's not looking good. And that's 2, 3. Oh, and he's trying to pop them back up. We'll have to go to the judges on this.
There's an old adage that I like to use in the drag strip, and it is, if you can't be good, be spectacular. Now would be the time just to go the full Monty and just clean out every cone we have in the place.
And I'm also thinking that is that the jack's own fear right there, where it's running away from the block. See, these inanimate objects seem to be taking on personality with a 10,000-pound trailer rolling over them.
All right, so Matt Doyle has finished his run, and I'm sure he is glad that is over. And he will leave this competition with certainly some extra motivation to lean on the big Scorpion-powered Ford truck on the drag strip, because I don't think he's going to find himself in the top 5. So it is returning champion Eric Clausen lining up that massive 2008 Ford F-250 here. Be our next driver on the course. This truck is the tallest truck we have, running the largest amount of tire, and it is one of the longest wheelbase trucks we have.
Nice smooth start.
And it is amazing to watch the suspension on that truck work.
And he already got a cone.
Nick the cone. Gets the truck set up to go through the backing portion of the program.
And he's got a nice straight reverse here. He's just got to make sure that he clears that box so he sets himself up for the next gate.
Has to work the wheel a little bit, but yeah. Okay, he's the first guy we've seen actually on the throttle in reverse, and he made that back up very quickly. Now he's got the truck back and forward, and you can hear him. Here he comes. He's going to lean on it.
Yep, here's our fastest portion of the course, and he's on it. So far, a nice smooth run except for that one cone.
In the box, and he's coming to try to close it out here. He's trying to be quicker than a 104, plus only 109 rather. Gets the thing set up, cranks it in, and he is tight. And we are diving for protection. So Eric Clausen went for broke, and he kind of did a little bit here, and he is finding himself. He left the dyno as the number 2 man on the dyno chart, and he will not be leaving here as the number 2 man in the trailer tow. What was his time?
Looks like 58 seconds, but he hit 5 cones, which is more than anybody so far. That's good for a 25-second addition to his overall speed. So, but that's good enough for second or third place at this point, surprisingly. And so I think his strategy seems to have worked out.
So a unique truck in a couple of ways coming up next. This is Dave Hefner's 1999 Ford F-250, packing the old school 7.3-liter Power Stroke, and it's our only single cab long bed truck. He chose a much more, let's say, high performance car type tire to put on this thing, as opposed to more of an off-road tire. And I bet it's going to benefit him here. I bet it's going to benefit him in the drag strip. But man, I could not see those things being all that great in the truck pull.
Yeah, the sled pull is a dirt track, obviously, and those tires don't look like they have a whole lot of tread on them. That would be a concern for me. You're right. I don't see those being the best tires of choice, and the competitors aren't allowed to change tires throughout the competition.
Right. One of the great things about the challenge, you're on one set of rubber the whole way, and the truck laboring as he heads out of the starting gate here. This is definitely our lowest truck as well. For a four-wheel drive truck, this thing is down there.
Yeah, he doesn't have any kind of lift on it at all.
So Hefner does a nice job squaring the trailer up. He's got it in reverse now, heading through that long gate, and the trailer walking to the right side. He's going to try to save it and continue moving in reverse, but he is going to go into a wide back-and-forth swath to keep that thing lined up between the cones.
Yeah, he's eating up a lot of valuable time right now by backing through the gate, but he looks like he's got it, and he's going to clear it with and put himself right on target for going through that next gate.
Low center of gravity probably going to help him through this part of the course, as the truck should be very settled coming through these cones.
This is where low center of gravity is going to be helpful, and this is our fastest part of the competition, or this course.
Nice piece of driving around the corner. He's on the binders, gets it stopped and dragged down before he has any issues with clicking a cone. In reverse, lickety split. Making some good time here. Can he get it in?
The box. Nope, he's got it. He's got it down.
And a good save there. He nicked a couple cones. He didn't move them, so he's still good. Squared it up, took the extra couple seconds, and made it through. I think that was a pretty good run there for Dave Hefner.
119, so that puts him in a solid second place, and he's making up the points he felt he lost yesterday on the dyno.
So the Colorado native Chris Hillison comes up in his Ram, and we were joking yesterday that this is a wounded animal, but I'll tell you what, it is a wounded animal I would take any day of the week.
Yeah, he was telling me earlier that he's low compression in 2 of his 6 cylinders. So it's not just 1, it's 2. He's running about 220 in the cylinders, yet he put out yesterday on the dyno over 1,000 horsepower, and I believe it was 1885 torque. Unbelievable. That's with 2 bad cylinders. So it'll be amazing to see what this truck would do if he had, I don't know, all 6 cylinders working properly.
So Hillison, gonna go till it explodes basically this week, and he lives in Colorado, so it's not that long of a walk home for him. Although this is a pretty big state.
A lot of hills too, a lot of hills. And the truck has disappeared behind the smoke screen, so we can't tell you what he's quite doing yet. Here we go, it's all cleared. Now he's made that first sharp turn, and he's lining up for the reverse gate.
And he is facing north to south on an east to west racetrack basically right now. I'm not sure what his strategy is here, but whatever it was, it appears to be working for him because he's making it through there quickly. He has not struck any cones yet, but oh boy.
Ooh. Getting close to jackknifing on that one. Definitely have to be careful with that short trailer. He's smoking from all over, out the stack, under the truck, smoke from everywhere.
And here he comes, leaning on it hard. He's into the power around the corner. Yes.
That may be the fastest corner anybody's
I'll
taken
tell you.
right there.
We need to get a G-meter inside that thing.
Well, when you say he's going for broke, I think you absolutely mean it, because this may be the fastest, cleanest run up to this point. But
I meant the motor, not the ball joints, though.
Oh,
and he's coming in. You know what? He is going to go back in.
6. Well, we'll have to see what the judge's official line is on the penalty cones, but I think he followed Eric Clausen's strategy of just get the trailer over the line. We'll worry about the penalties later. A beautiful 102 run, but the 5-cone penalty, well, that's 25 seconds right there.
So our lone dually truck in the field comes up now, Tony Reside. I guess, you know, from a layman's perspective, when you think about towing heavy objects and stuff, you automatically think of a dually, but may not be working in his favor on this course. This is has to be one of the most powerful Duramax trucks in the country as well, as he fared very well on the dynamometer yesterday. Very innovative truck. Lots of neat stuff happening under here, from the dual snow performance method water injection system he has on it, the turbocharger setup. It is very well tuned, and we're going to see how well driven it is right now.
Absolutely. Here we go.
Here he goes. Those big, wide dually fenders, hike it up. And Tony is going for broke here. He wants to get a piece of the action, wants to, I believe he is driven to win this large portion of the contest, but man, that thing, oh yeah.
Talk about this rear fender.
We have a, oh yeah, it is,
I mean, he's all over the
getting
course.
crazy.
I think the fourth shift of the cone factory is now in effect.
Quarter line from Austin Powell. Oh, yeah. Okay, that could be one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. That was easily the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Well, if we wanted drama, we got drama there. I don't know that I want to be scared, but it was a hell of a run right there.
Mother of mercy. Smoldering the tire sideways on the power through the corner, and
apparently the philosophy here is if you can't beat them, go for last.
yeah, and here it comes.
Well, let's be honest, we needed those cones anyway.
Those were my least favorite. They were annoying me the whole time. This man needs a round of applause. That was, as we referenced once before, if you can't be good, be spectacular. And he helped us in the cleanup process because now we don't have to lay the cones over. We can just go and stack them up. So Sean, why don't you go do a body count on the cones? I'm going to go see if Tony needs any medication to recover from that run.
All right, so we have the official times. That includes the multitude of penalty cones. I don't know if I have enough figures to count, so we'll just say it's a lot.
So that's it. We ended with a spectacular finish from Tony Rizai, and now we are headed to the drag strip. So you've seen how deft and how agile the trucks are with the trailer behind them, and how deft and agile some trucks aren't with the trailer behind them, headed through the cones in the obstacle course. Well, now it's all about brute force, brute strength, and blunt force trauma on the drag strip as we put the same trailer we used in the obstacle course behind these trucks, and they tow it through the 8th mile as quickly as possible. So Banyan Woosley coming up the stage. He is an experienced drag racer, runs his truck a lot on the 8th mile back in Kentucky, but not with a 10,000-pound trailer on the back. See if he can put that drag racing experience to work here, get the truck hooked up, and see what he can put up for a number in the 8th mile. Woosley, you heard the tires break loose when he really got on the throttle. He goes through the 8th mile, 11:50 at 66 miles an hour for Woosley in the Dodge. So 11.506 seconds, 66.34 miles an hour through the 8th mile. You saw his strategy, which was to ease the truck off the starting line, and he really started to feed the power to it at 60 feet. But even then, you heard the tires break loose. That's going to be the tale of this event, is how the guys can get it hooked up and rolling on the starting line without doing a giant burnout with that trailer hanging off the back. So our next truck up is the 2008 Chevrolet of Texan Willie Lewis. This has the compound turbocharged Duramax engine in it. It also has an independent front suspension like all GM trucks of this era do, so pay attention to that front end when he lays the power to it. We'll see if those front tires start jamming back and forth like they've been known to do. The truck did check the tires a little bit at 60 feet. Pulls very solidly through the 8th mile, 12:29 at 66.35 mile an hour. So the mile an hour almost identical to what we saw out of the Cummins Dodge of Banyan Woosley, but he goes 12:29 with an O. So the ET was about 0.8 of a second slower than we saw out of the Cummins truck, but the mile an hour about the same. So Willie Lewis, a strong showing, not going to put him on top of the heap though. So here comes the 2011 Ford F-250 of Matt Doyle. So Doyle with a big 6.7-liter Scorpion diesel motor had a horrible time during the trailer obstacle course. We'll see if he can make up for it now. Doyle goes 11:11 at 66.39 miles an hour. That is the quickest pass we have had, and the truck sounded like junk when it came by us. We're about 60 feet down the drag strip, and it did not sound healthy at all. It sounded like it was almost like it was missing badly. It just did not sound good, but he kept his foot stuck to it, and then the truck picked up again right about 330 feet. It powered through 11:11 at 66.34 miles an hour. Once again, another 66 mile an hour run, but Matt Doyle jumps to the top of the ET heap. Big run from the 2011 F-250. So our next competitor up is going to be Wesley Beach from Ohio, who has had a kind of a very manic 2 days. He during our first day competition on the dyno, he came in as the low horsepower guy, low torque guy. Not to say that the truck is weak, it's still a very stout truck. He's just in a field amongst giants here. He made up for that today by coming in first place during our trailer tow obstacle course. So he has seen the bottom and he has seen the top of the heap in the last 2 days. So now Beach is going to try to better the 11.11 second lap just made by Matt Doyle in the 6.7-liter Power Stroke truck. And a relatively clean pass, a big pop at the end. It sounded like he might have pushed one of the boots off the intercooler again. But he goes 10.34 with a 2 at 74 miles an hour. So he puts almost 10 miles an hour on everybody else. And then he dumps off, wow, he dumped about almost more than a half a second off of that 11.11. Matt Doyle, I thought, was smoking along. But here comes West Beach, 10.34 with a 2 at 74. And I think he might have been playing pooch on the dyno yesterday. A great run for West Beach, and he is on top again after dominating in the trailer tow. He is now, in the obstacle course, he's now dominating the trailer tow and the drag strip. Behind me is last year's champion of diesel power. It is Eric Clausen, who has had the opposite week that West Beach has had. He was number 2 in the dyno, and he went right to the bottom of the pile on the trailer tow. Had a very tough run there, wiped out a bunch of cones. He's trying to make up for it now. This truck, a triple compound turbo setup, makes immense power. Can he put it to the ground? And Clausen explodes the front U-joint, absolutely blew a U-joint to smithereens. There is shards of metal raining down all over the racetrack. You saw the front axle actually jumping off the pavement. That thing was spinning all 4 tires, and I mean it was spinning all 4 tires. There was smoke rolling off both sides, and we got U-joint caps and pieces of a cross and the whole works laying right in the middle of the drag strip. So what failed on the truck was the upper U-joint that comes off of the transfer case is what broke. The lower U-joint by the axle is fine. The upper U-joint is destroyed. It actually looks like it broke the yoke right off the drive shaft. And so literally a tough break for Clausen. The guys are already on the phone trying to get parts to fix that truck, but they're going to have to look because that's not store-bought stuff. That is custom-made drive shaft in that thing. Hopefully they can locate the replacement pieces, and we'll see Eric back. Well, we'll see him later this afternoon, but it'll be in 2-wheel drive, and that should be good for about a quarter-mile burnout in that thing. Our next competitor is Paul Cato, another of our Cummins-powered trucks. Cato, during our trailer obstacle course portion of the program, was making a pretty decent run, but then wiped out several cones at the end, penalizing him and pushing him down towards the bottom of the ladder. He did have a long day yesterday fixing the truck after making his initial dyno pull, then came back, and the very last pull today made a very strong nitrosated dyno pull that put him pretty close to the top of the heap on the dyno. He's going to try to apply all that power to the ground, and we've seen what can happen when that goes wrong. Truck really starting to labor, and he goes to the 8th mile, 10.50 with a 9 at 75 miles an hour. 75.26 miles an hour for Cato. 10.50 with a 9 was the ET, and he came out of the hole hard. He was smoking all 4 tires. Had to pedal it a couple times to get it hooked up, but then once it did bite, truck pulled very hard all the way through the 8th. Nice solid run for Paul Cato. He'll take that to the bank. David Hefner is here in the oldest truck with the oldest engine family. We got the 7.3-liter 1999 Ford Power Stroke pickup. He's getting the thing wound up, getting the turbo spooled, and he is going to run down the 8th mile with the trailer hooked to the hitch. Wow, you saw that thing go? Yeah, it went into a death wobble and then a massive nitrous explosion through the exhaust. And that was a textbook on stuff just not going your way. As you saw, Hefner really feed the power to the thing. I mean, that truck absolutely came to life about 100 feet down the course. The front end went to a major, huge wobble, probably almost ripped the steering wheel out of his hands. He had to lift, and then kaboom, a giant nitrous explosion through the exhaust. That was a very tough lap, and I hope that truck is not mortally wounded, as Hefner has it stopped, and he has jumped out looking underneath to see if it is raining parts, oil, transmission fluid, or some substance we haven't even thought of yet. So things started to go bad for Dave Hefner right after the 60-foot mark. And if you watch it and you look at these marks, you can see where it actually is loading and unloading the front tires, especially through here, as we can see how narrow this mark starts out, and it really loads the front end up on this side and actually flattened the tire out enough to see it. And you can watch this one on for about 40 to 50 feet before he had to finally lift, and it just got ugly for him. It had that big nitrous pop through the exhaust. The good news was he stopped the truck at the top end, checked it out, and was able to drive off. So the thing is still operable. But as you can see from these marks, I mean, this thing was chewing the track so hard, it literally ripped through the rubber right down to the concrete base of the racetrack. So that was one of the more violent things I have seen happen on a drag strip in a very long time. So the big GMC dually you see pulling up behind us belongs to Tony Rizai, another guy who struggled mightily during the trailer towing competition but fared very well in the dyno yesterday. He's looking to atone for the trailer towing sins with a strong lap here. He's got the only dually in the contest, probably more tire contact patch than anybody. Can he get it all hooked up, or is he going to blow the tires off the back of this truck? Let's find out. Well, he didn't blow the tires off, but I'm pretty sure he just fried either the torque converter or the transmission in that thing. It started to chatter the front end, it was chattering the back end, and then all of a sudden the revs went to the moon and the truck went absolutely nowhere. He is now rolling to what appears to be a very slow stop. He will complete the lap. This is kind of an important footnote here. He is going to roll past the 8th mile. He will not record a very competitive time, but he will record a time. So that is not a DNF for him. He will get factored into completing this event if he can get the truck fixed. And it looks like it is going to be a substantial fix to continue the competition both for tomorrow. He's still in it, but for the time being, that looked and sounded really bad. So Chris Hillison coming up here in his Dodge, and boy, we have seen some carnage on the drag strip today. Hillison's truck already a wounded animal. He's down about down cylinder pressure in 2 holes of that 6-cylinder Cummins engine. We'll see if it holds up because we've lost a few full power trucks. Let's see how the wounded one hangs in there. And you heard the revs go to the sky, the motor revving to the moon, and the truck simply not accelerating. So I think we saw another transmission. Oh yeah, and there is a nitrous pop out of the exhaust of that truck. He goes 1683 with a 6 at 32 miles an hour. And Chris Hillison at this point has just got to be shaking his head. He has been snake bit all week. The truck not only hurting the engine, now apparently hurting the drivetrain. And since neither of the drive shafts came out, that's a cooked transmission. Well, we've come to the end of part 2 of the 2013 Diesel Power Challenge, joined with a guy who dominated the second section of this event, Wes Beach from Ohio. Wes, in both the trailer towing obstacle course and the 8th mile trailer tow on the drag strip, the Power Stroke performed very well. Tell me a little bit about how you tuned the truck up between the last 2 days.
We really didn't change anything at all. We just, gave it hell and used the nitrous.
Well, it did look very strong pulling the trailer down. We were all surprised that 1030, it was like a 1034 you put up on the strip pulling the trailer. Very impressive number, and hopefully you'll be able to hold up in the heads-up drag race, which is the first time we've ever done a heads-up drag race at this competition. So what's your level of experience on the drag strip?
I've got a bit, not too much. I'm a little worried because I'm not good at being consistent, so I think that might hurt me.
Well, it was an exciting day of competition here. These trucks got worked to the max. We saw a bunch of carnage, but this Power Stroke behind us performed flawlessly. Wes, good luck for the rest of the competition.
Thank you.